Welcome to IAYTD, and today is fight day. It's Friday. So today's fight, we've got something interesting. We've got the Taskmaster from Marvel Comics versus Prometheus from DC Comics. Let's start with Taskmaster. What can he do? Basically, his power is muscle mimicry, which means he can watch someone do something and then copy it exactly. So he uses this to learn people's fighting styles. So as soon as they throw a couple punches, he can pick up on what they're doing and then copy them. So he uses this to learn martial arts, learn different fighting styles, learn skills like using a bow and arrow, using a shield, things like that. He learns all of these skills by watching. He can even push this to a supernatural level by watching martial arts videos in fast forward, which means he can now move almost superhumanly fast. However, doing this puts a toll on his body. So he can't do it for a whole fight, but he can bust this out in little bursts and it tires him down. Other than that, he's basically a human. He has no other superpowers. There's nothing abnormal about his body. He is just a guy with the ability to replicate what other people are doing. In terms of weapons, he tends to use swords, bows and arrows, shields. He even copied some weapons that other people use. So he has like a claw set like Wolverine. He created this artificial webbing like Spider-Man. And so he uses this to copy their styles in ways that he physically can't, but he can build gadgets to do some of that stuff for him. In terms of weaknesses, his weaknesses are people that are unpredictable. If he can't guess what they're doing or what they're going to do next, he's not able to replicate that fighting style. So to face off against Taskmaster, we've got Prometheus. Prometheus also really doesn't have anything supernatural about him, but he is a strategist. And so he's known for coming up with thousands of plans, how to defeat superheroes, supervillains, anyone that he might run across. He likely has a plan to take them out. So he comes up with all these scenarios, what could go wrong, how to defeat them, so that if he ever does face them, he already knows how to take them out. In terms of weapons, he uses guns, grenades, whatever is at his disposal, but he can use objects in his surroundings to a deadly effect. So things like if there's a bottle, if there's, anything that's around him, he can throw with deadly accuracy. He also wears a suit, which might be something that gives him an incredible advantage in this fight. And the suit does a couple things. First off, it has a camouflage device built in so he can appear briefly as someone else. It also gives out shocks, which is said to be like a flu to the mind. That these shocks kind of make the person unable to concentrate. It kind of messes things up, and that might tip the scale and make Taskmaster just a little off his game. The suit can also, it's an armor, so it can take damage. The helmet also inputs new information and can help him adjust his plans as the fight is happening. So what do you think? One guy who plans for everything and one guy who doesn't need to because as the fight's happening, he can adapt and adjust. One has a lot of technology. One has basically any weapon he could potentially want to use. What do you think would happen? Taskmaster versus Prometheus. Last week we did a target, and our target was on Professor X. Some villain was going to try to infiltrate the mansion and defeat Professor Xavier. I decided going kind of one-on-one. A lot of people brought up suggestions like, oh, well, the X-Men would stop this person. We weren't looking for someone that could defeat all of the X-Men. We were just looking for someone that could infiltrate and take out the professor. But we found something that's a little bit of both. Adam C. Henry II said, I would send the Toyman from DC. The current incarnation is a robot, so the professor wouldn't be able to read his mind or detect any ill intent. I see it going down like this. Toyman disguise, delivering dolls, cars, soldiers, etc. to the students at the school. They've never met him before and would have no idea how dangerous they are. Once taken inside, he can use them to remotely kill Professor X. The cars are bombs, toy soldiers with sniper guns, face hugger teddy bears. This also avoids any confrontation with any of the other X-Men that might be there. Job done. So that is just one of the creative ways to get around kind of getting into the mansion, so that's stealth aspect, and then also dealing with his ability to control minds and his telepathy. So how do you get past all that? Robots. So think about this fight this week and also give me suggestions for future fights, future targets, future prove yourselves, any of these new combinations. Let's get creative. We'll see you next week on Comic Fights.